Joining me for another training. And in this training, we're going to go over proofing media with clients. So remember, one of your main jobs is to actually move creative projects forward with the client on a regular basis. And what this involves is encouraging the client to provide you with more raw collateral, whether that's organic photos they take with their cell phone, or videos they take with their phone, or actual cameras like professional photography or professional video, so that we can get that stuff and then turn it into professional ads for them to improve their results. And so that involves working with the client to get the collateral, and then working with our creative team to move things forward, and then showing the client what we're producing. Now, when we onboard clients, many times our clients don't have any ads ready, or they're not running enough ads in their ad account. And so pretty much like 95 to 99% of the time when we onboard clients, if you're part of the onboarding process as a CSR, you are proofing anywhere from 7 to 10 pieces of creative, like around 15 pieces of copywriting, maybe 10 pieces of copywriting. And this can be difficult, and some reasons being that like clients can be picky. They might not think that things are on brand, or they don't like language that's used. But we do involve them in a lot of the process and onboarding as far as our strategy is concerned, and like why we're making things we're making it, which kind of helps. But you will find as time goes on, like if you're in operations and you're just doing the normal creative projects on a regular basis with clients, you may have to proof things with them multiple times. And so when things get difficult with proofing, I'm going to give you some strategies to use that will help with this. And again, this is where soft skills are important too, so you have a good relationship with the client. So when it comes down to communicating through these things and like picking good creative or making changes and getting edits done and communicating timelines to the client, they're on board with working with us and with working with you. So they're more patient with you. So clarifying questions like if a client comes back to you and says, I don't like this piece of media, it's bad. It's usually when they're being not very specific that you have to ask clarifying questions. You might say, well, if they just say, I don't like this, then you want to use open-ended questions. Okay, an open-ended question leads to an open response where they have to kind of tell you a story, or they have to give you an explanation. Not closed-ended questions. A closed-ended question is just like yes or no. So it would be like if you showed them something different, like, well, do you like this? And they just go, no. That's a closed-ended question. You have to ask clarifying questions that are open-ended. So like if the client describes something they would like to see, but it's still not as specific, then use clarifying questions linking back. Like, can you tell me more about what you don't like? That's an open-ended question linking back to what they said. Or if they say, this just seems like it's too loud or something, or this just seems like it's not like us, or it's not like what we would do. Well, can you tell me more about that? Can you help me a little bit more with that? What do you mean by that? That sort of thing. It needs to be an open-ended question, not a question that can be answered with yes or no. All right? Now, they could say no to questions like those, but you understand what I mean by being open-ended, where they need to give more of a descriptive answer to you. So you really have some direction to go when you go back to our creative team. If you have to go back to ChatGPT to generate more copy. And again, don't tell the client that what creative team we use or that you even use ChatGPT. Just let them know, all right, I'm going to take this back, and the copywriters are going to work on this more, which is like you basically in ChatGPT. Okay. They don't need to know that we're using AI or what software we use or how we use it, or what prompts we use, anything like that. Okay. Make sure you're setting meetings or requesting Looms from the client. So share Loom.com with the client. This is another link that I'm going to include in the dynamic, in our dynamic links, or like bookmarked links. Loom.com is really important because Loom.com allows them to record videos without having to do a meeting with you. Okay, so encourage the client to simply download Loom.com or download the Chrome extension for Loom so they can easily just start it, record a video, and send it to you. Loom.com, using Loom to reduce screen recording is free for up to 5-minute videos. And really, it shouldn't take them longer than 5 minutes to record a proofing video and really talk to you about their thoughts. Okay. And it saves a lot of time with trying to schedule Zoom meetings. Okay. So encourage them to do screen recordings or do Loom. They might even have another screen recording tool, which is fine as long as it's like saving you the meeting on Zoom. Now, if they're being very specific and it's just difficult and you think it's just going to require more of a personal touch, then schedule the Zoom meeting and get on it by all means. So, make sure that you're encouraging those Loom recordings. And that also enables you to get transcripts of the call. So when they give you feedback, you can actually just feed it directly into ChatGPT. If it's for copywriting, you can literally just go to ChatGPT and say, hey, here's the copywriting we created for a client for our ads. This is the feedback I just got from the client. Can we rework the copywriting based on their feedback? And this is why detailed feedback is good. If they're being too general and they're just like, I don't like it, or this doesn't seem good to me, you have to get more detail from the client to rework the copywriting. You have to say, okay, I totally understand where you're coming from. Can you give me more detail on what you don't like? Maybe give me some detail on what you do like. If there are things you do like here, what do you see that you like? And try to get that out of them. And so schedule Zoom meetings with the client to ensure, and then ensure the Zoom meetings are recorded if you do get on a Zoom meeting. Same thing. So you can get the transcript from the Zoom call for GPT if you need to adjust the proofing for copywriting. Also, verify creative resources with the client. So we have all of them, and we have the best of them. Make sure the client understands where their Google Drive folder is, how to upload collateral in there, and then you have to kind of ask them on a regular basis. So even if we've onboarded a client and you're doing operations, be sure to ask them, hey, do you have more creatives? Do you have more content that you can put in your Google Drive? Do you have any videos that you can upload in there that we could work with? The more you do that, the better off, because we can turn those into ads. Also, provide extra options. If proofing gets difficult and the client is like, I like if the proofing is easy, then you're just doing like a modification. They might come back and say, I like the ads a lot. Just make a few changes here. Perfect. Just make those changes. Approve it with the client. Let's move forward. If they come back and they're like, this whole thing is messed up and I hate it. Well, what you want to do is come back with all new options and then add one or two options. You actually give them more options and try to make sure there's some variance in those couple extra ones, like some pretty big variance. So you and let them know. Say, hey, I went ahead and came back with even more options here because it seems like all of the last ones are totally off base. So can you kind of help me out here? Let me know which ones are good here. Generally, this might be with like copywriting. It could be with creative if you have a video and you cut some edits of a video and they don't like any of them. Cut more edits and then maybe ask the creative team if you could have like an extra one or something to show them. Okay, so sometimes one of the strategies doesn't always apply, but one of the strategies to actually provide more options and show them like, hey, here's lots of other ideas then. Which idea do you like the most, basically? Okay, but make sure you're getting specifics from clients with proofing. That's the biggest thing, is if you're having issues proofing with a client and they're just not on board with stuff, then you need to get more clarity with them. If they're not being clear and they refuse to be clear and they're just saying, well, it's just bad and I just don't like it, try to come back to them with some more ads, like different, just take a whole different approach to it maybe. And if it's still off base and they still won't tell us why, they'd still need to tell us why. It does happen, but it's very, very rare. Very rare that we have clients that are that difficult. It does happen every once in a while. I'd say like 1 out of like 100, like 1 or 2 out of 100 clients we deal with are so difficult with proofing that they won't give any details and we just can't seem to move anything forward with them. And in cases like that, we have a contract in place to protect ourselves from people like that just aren't very good communicators. They're so difficult to work with. You just can't move a project forward with them. So that's why we have that in place. But anyway, for the most part, people are very amicable. They're very easy to work with. And your job is to get the media approved. They see it. They like it. Great. And then when something is approved, when it's totally approved, you have to make sure you have a record of that approval, whether it's a direct email from them or like maybe they send you a text message or something, you got to screenshot that text message, download that email. Or if it's a recording where they said it verbally, like on a Zoom call or in a Loom video, download the recording. Make sure you're putting that in the ClickUp task, okay? We have to make sure we have a record of their approval. In the mock-up documents that we use for mocking up ads, there's actually a section where they can simply put their initials and confirm that they approve the mock-up in the actual mock-up document, okay? And so one of the really important points with proofing is that you have a clear approval from the client, because again, sometimes clients work in teams. We're not just working with a business owner, you're working with like a CMO, or like we're doing the media buying for a marketing team, and someone on their team that we're working with approves ads, and then maybe that person's no longer working with them. And then somebody else comes in and they say, well, what's up with these ads that are on? We say, well, you guys approved these and here's the proof. This is the last person that was working here, right? So make sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's with approvals and documenting approvals with ad proofs. All right? I hope this is helpful. Thanks.